I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. And I was thinking it is the season of love, seeing as Valentine's Day is coming up on February 14th. It is currently February 8th at the recording of this podcast, and maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit because I could have done this next week, but when the inspiration hits, you just got to go with it. So I'm not going to talk about love, like a love of people. I'm going to talk about the things I love, some of the movies and TV shows and singers, stuff that means a lot to me. Hopefully you'll connect or it'll stir some memories for you or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to take a breather here, and I'll be right back with the things I love. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. And today I'm talking about the things I love. And like I said, I figured it was Valentine's Day time, whatever. Not quite, but it is the season of love. But I'm just going to talk about things that I love, whether it be movies, TV shows, singers, whatever. I want to start off with food. What are my favorite foods, you ask? Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you don't really care, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's my podcast and I'll do what I want. I'm kind of a basic meat and potato guy. I love steak and potatoes. Really, I do. Maybe that's a cliche, but I just do. I don't have that a lot because steak and beef is so ridiculously high anymore. But I grew up that way. My dad was a steak and potato kind of guy too. But I can go to any restaurant, and I've been to Cancun, and I've been around a little bit to restaurants, nicer restaurants, and what I want to eat is a cheeseburger. I love cheeseburgers. My favorite being a Big Mac. I know I have really low rent taste, but I love Big Macs. Okay, I admit it. A guilty pleasure of mine, but they currently have the double Big Mac at McDonald's. Oh, man. Anything to make a fat man happy, right? And that certainly makes this fat man happy. But yeah, I do. I remember being in Mexico, in Cancun, in a nice, really restaurant, and I was having cheeseburgers. So that's just the way I am. We had a nice cheeseburger joint at our mall in Carbondale, Illinois, called the SB Burger Place. I can't remember. It's closed. Unfortunately, COVID claimed the life of the poor restaurant. And but they had the greatest burgers. They had some interesting ones, and I wished I could have tried more before they closed. I ate there a couple of times. I really enjoyed it. But hamburgers or cheeseburgers are my absolute favorite food. And then you go to the Italian side, or at least my idea of Italian. I love pizza, and I love all kinds of pizzas. I work in a place where we serve pizza. Doesn't help my weight any. But I absolutely love a good pizza. And I love lasagna. And I love spaghetti. And I love... pasta in general is a favorite of mine. I love all kinds of pasta. None of this is good for you. None of this is giving me my boyish figure back. But I love it all. I love fattening foods. I love fried chicken. Again, I work in a place where we sell fried chicken. And I love, I told you I love French fries. I love potatoes. I love French fries. Absolutely love French fries. That comes from my father. My father, as a matter of fact, when he was in the hospital before he passed, they wouldn't let him have potatoes of any kind because his blood sugar was really high, and he said, I just wish I had a big plate of French fries. That was his dying wish, and unfortunately he didn't get to have them, but that would be my dying wish as well. I love good French fries. And, oh gosh, what else? Desserts, I'm not the biggest dessert fan. I love apple pie. I used to love cherry pie more, but I think apple pie is so... I love cinnamony desserts more than anything. I love pecan pie, but apple pie is my absolute favorite. Just love a warm apple pie with butter and, God. And I love white cake and white icing. That is my favorite. I'm not a big chocolate cake fan. I used to love chocolate way more than I do now, but I'm not a big chocolate fan. Other than Reese's peanut butter cups. Now there's a weakness of mine. I could eat a whole bag of those. Quite frankly. I also love breakfast food. I love a big stack of hot pancakes with maple syrup and butter with a side of sausage. Oh gosh, that's so good. Or even ham. I love to dip my meats in my syrup. And boy, that sounds kind of weird, but you know what I mean. And a good steaming cup of coffee. I love flavored coffees. I'm not a black coffee drinker. I like my current favorite is a leftover from Christmas. It's I love mocha coffee with mocha and peppermint creamer in it. And I like my coffee sweet. I'm kind of a wussy when it comes to coffee. I'm not a strong coffee liker. I like flavored coffees. I come from a family of coffee drinkers, and a lot of them don't like flavored coffee, but to each his own, and I do have to be my own self. So, gotta do it my way. It's my way or the highway. My current obsession right now is cheddar dogs. Cheddar sausages. Oh my God. I like them burnt. I don't like them, I don't like them boiled. I like them kind of on the grill or just kind of take them and get a little singe to them. They're great in the air fryer. I love the air fryer. That's one of my favorite kitchen tools. But put your hot dogs in the air fryer and they turn out perfect. It juices them up a little bit. And I used to love, believe it or not, I grew up loving ketchup, which to a lot of hot dog eaters, that's a sin. But I don't as much enjoy ketchup on my hot dogs as I like honey mustard and relish. So it's kind of a compromise, I guess. Because I'm not a big mustard fan, just regular mustard, but I do love honey mustard. Again, I'm a wimp. What can I say? And unfortunately, being a fat man, I can talk about food all day. I was a very picky eater as a kid, and I can remember only wanting ketchup on my hamburgers, and I didn't like anything but hamburgers when I was little, and I liked hot dogs and SpaghettiOs and meatballs. And there's another weird thing about me. I love SpaghettiOs and meatballs now. They don't taste like they did when I was a kid, but I prefer them cold right out of the can. A lot of people are like, gross, but I can eat out of the can. I can eat SpaghettiOs and meatballs. And that's how I prefer them. I don't like them hot. They just don't taste the same. I told you I'm a weirdo, okay? But that's just me. And this is my podcast, and I will like it if I want to. Chicken and stars was another thing I grew up on. Campbell's soup. Still is one of my guilty pleasures. I love chicken and stars, and with a lot of crackers in it. I prefer Ritz crackers in my chicken soup. They just have a better flavor in your soup. I love pot pies. Those Marie Callender pot pies. See, I have low rent. I guess it's low rent tastes. I don't know. I'm not a big, I don't do well in fancy restaurants or stuff because I just don't care for fancy foods. I'm a basic kind of guy. So anyway, cheeseburgers are my favorite, though. I will admit it. And I like a little bacon on them sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I don't make cheeseburgers as often as I used to because beef has gotten so expensive. Like I said before, it's just a shame. So it's more of a treat. I have more chicken of one form or another, chicken strips or chicken patties or whatever. Chicken is not much different, though. I mean, it's getting expensive, too. The cost of living is outrageous anymore. I think everybody will agree with that. So it does influence how I eat. I don't eat the most healthy foods. I do love a good salad. I won't, when I'm on a health kick, which I need to get back on one, salads are the way to go. But I also get very creative with what I eat, because I try to avoid breads and carbs, so I try to get creative. I try to make things without bread, like not even wraps. You can pretty well put anything in a salad. You put the inside, you can make a cheeseburger salad if you want. I just try to watch those carbs when I'm dieting. Carbs are my enemy. Or I tell you, another thing I love is cherry Coke or cherry Pepsi. I'm kind of torn. I don't have a preference of brands. I kind of switch from back and forth. At work, I drink cherry Coke with added cherry flavor and vanilla. And at home, I drink cherry Pepsi. But for some reason of late, it's been hard to get, so I've been doing cherry Coke. I don't like cherry Coke in the bottle as much as I like it on the fountain. I don't know why. But I think I've talked enough about food. Did I forget anything? I told you I love fried chicken, lasagna. Yeah, pretty much chili. Oh God, I love to make chili, and I love to make meatloaf. My meatloafs are really good usually, but I don't ever make them the same way twice. I always experiment with meatloafs, but a lot of people say gross to meatloafs, but I think they're amazing. My dad used to make the most amazing meatloaf ever, and he also was really good at beef stew or pot roast. Ugh, I love that stuff. I just love pot roast. Anyway, I'm getting hungry. I don't know about you. I'm going to take a break, and I'll come back with some more stuff I love. I'm going to get off this food subject because it's making me hungry. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and I'm talking about the things I love. And I'll be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and today I am talking about the things I love, and I was talking about food a while ago, and no, I didn't go eat a meal. Maybe later. I actually just ate a little bit ago. What did I have? Mac and cheese with chicken in it. That was really good. But I've talked about the things I love, and I talked about food in the last segment, and I'm going to talk about the things I love. Let's talk about television. What kind of television do I like? I'm all over the damn map with my television favorites. I love science fiction shows. Of course, Star Trek, all the Star Treks. I watch Star Trek a lot. I prefer the original series. It's my all-time favorite TV show, period. But I also do like, I love cop shows, but I like the classic cop shows. I love to watch Adam 12, and I like to watch Emergency, which isn't a cop show. It's about EMTs. And I like detective shows like Barnaby Jones and Columbo. And McMillan and Wife was an all-time favorite of mine with Rock Hudson and Susan St. James. Absolutely, I bought the series, and I can watch that all day. They had such a great chemistry together, and I love Susan St. James, and Rock Hudson was a classic movie star, of course, but he was older than Susan St. James, and if you know anything about Rock Hudson, but he did really well. They had good chemistry, and the show was a lot of fun. Eventually, Susan St. James' character was killed off, and it just went to McMillan, and I didn't like it as much. Like I said, I have the entire series on DVD, and I tend to skip the later episodes because it just didn't work without Susan St. James. But God, that show's 50 years old. Another 50 years old show that I absolutely adore, and if you know me, you know what I'm going to say. As a matter of fact, it turns 50 this year, is Kolchak the Night Stalker. It only ran for one season back in 1974 and early 75. It came from two TV movies, The Night Stalker, which was 1972, I think, and then The Night Strangler aired in 1973, and then they made a TV series, with Darren McGavin. My cat just clawed me. That's not one of my favorite things I love. She's kind of playing on my chest here. But I absolutely love Kolchak, and I love that with Facebook and with being online, you can find other fans, and come to find out it's got quite the cult following and is it is remembered by many people and beloved by many people. So it's kind of cool. It's airing on MeTV at Saturday. Is it Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Central? Which I don't get MeTV here, but I do have the series on Blu-ray, and I can watch it anytime I want, which I'm getting ready to start watching again very soon because I'm in the mood. So it's only like 20 episodes, but for some reason I can rewatch those over and over and over, and I have for many, many years. And again, it's just one of my favorite TV shows. I like scary TV shows. I like the Rod Serling, the Twilight Zone, and I like to show the Night Gallery a lot. Those are my favorites. If you notice, a lot of these shows are really old. I don't really watch current television. I don't really like it very much. I prefer to watch old reruns. I love the Andy Griffith Show and Mary Tyler Moore Show, and I love the sitcoms on Antenna TV. I can watch those, The Facts of Life. I love those old shows. The newest shows I do watch are the Star Trek series, The Strange New Worlds, which I really love, and Picard. And I'm a big Doctor Who fan as well. I prefer classic Doctor Who, believe it or not. My favorite Doctor Who of all time is Tom Baker. And, kitty. Ouch, ouch, ouch. She is clawing me to death. Kira loves to come in my room when I'm trying to podcast. As you heard, I think it was in my last podcast, she was fighting with the other cat. But back to the subject at hand. I love Charlie's Angels. That was one of my favorite shows, and Starsky and Hutch. And again, I own those on DVD, and I watched them quite often. My mom enjoys Charlie's Angels. She enjoys watching it with me, which is funny because when it was originally on, it was on Wednesdays, and that was church night for her, and she never saw it in the original shows. She kind of enjoys Starsky and Hutch too. These shows, I can just watch them over and over, and they're comforting to me. They're just comfortable. They're just like old friends. And speaking of Friends, I love Friends as well. Haven't watched it in a while. It might pop up, and every now and then I'll watch it. Oddly enough, I never got into Big Bang Theory like I would think I would, because I'm such a geek, and it's a show about geeks, and they love Star Trek, and I know one of the actors is a big Olivia Newton-John fan in real life. But now I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't love it. I'll tell you the shows I really love, like Laverne and Shirley. I love slapstick. I can watch and have watched Three's Company is on all the time. I still watch that. But I'm just kind of a vintage TV guy. I'm kind of stuck in reruns. I rarely watch anything new. I just don't care for new television. And the same goes with the actors and movies of today. I'm not a big fan of new movies. There's not been a movie out that I wanted to see in a long time. Isn't that sad? But, I'm getting old, so it happens. There's just... Of course, I was a big Saturday morning cartoon fan when I was a kid. Cartoons don't appeal to me anymore. I mean, they're okay to watch every now and then, but I can't really get into them as much. But, excuse me. How rude of me. I'm trying to think. I used to really love Letterman when he was on. I liked his late night show on NBC, his later late night show. When he moved to CBS, I wasn't as big of a fan. He got too Hollywood. I think I've talked about this before. I liked when he was a lesser known late night TV host with more interesting guests other than celebrities. He had just some New York celebrities that nobody heard of, like what was her name? I can't remember. But I was trying to say Fran Drescher, but that's not who I was talking about. Franny, is it Leibowitz, maybe? I don't remember, but I can't remember something. Write that down. But anyway, I'm just, like I said, I'm really more into older TV shows, and thank God for Blu-ray and DVD sets, because I can watch anything I want to, whenever I want to. And then, like I said, the rerun shows on MeTV or Antenna TV or FETV. I enjoy watching the shows on there. Quincy with Jack Klugman is on FETV. I like that show as well. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here, and I guess I'll talk about music next. I think that's next on the agenda. So I'm going to take a break, and I will be back with more of the things I love. I'm Leonard Briggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Briggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and I've been talking about the things that I love seeing as it's coming up on Valentine's Day. And I've talked about food and TV shows so far. And next I'm going to cover some music and talk about some of the musicians and music that I love. I think my favorite genre of music is older top 40. I like Olivia Newton-John, of course, my all-time favorite. Billy Joel. I like Chicago. See, I like these easy listening groups, I guess you'd call them. But I do. Elvis is an all-time favorite of mine. And the Monkees, Sheena Easton. Gosh, so many singers that I love. Kylie Minogue is a big favorite of mine. I discovered Kylie years ago on Night Tracks on WTBS back in 1988. They played her worldwide debut single. That wasn't her first single. Her first single actually was The Locomotion in Australia. But her debut to the world was I Should Be So Lucky. And Night Tracks had an exclusive debut of the video, and they said, we think this young lady is going to be a big star. And she ended up being a huge star around the world, but just not in the United States. She's had a mediocre success here. And she just won a Grammy for her latest song, no, it's not her latest song, but her latest hit, I should say, Padam Padam, which was a huge club hit, and actually went top 10 in the UK again, and put her on top around the world, just not in the United States as usual. I think we're too busy playing Taylor Swift to play anybody else. I don't like the current trend of music where Taylor Swift can have like 14 top 40 hits at once. It's just so aggravating to me. I don't dislike Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan. That's just the way it is. She doesn't appeal to me at all. I've tried to listen to her music and it just doesn't, nothing for me. Not to be an insult. I mean, if you love Taylor Swift, great, because I know I love Olivia Newton-John, and there's a lot of people who don't like her. A lot of people don't like Kylie Minogue or Chris Isaak or any of the ones I love. So it's just a matter of taste, not a lack of taste. It's just a matter of different tastes. I'm not saying she sucks. Obviously she's got something. She's she's a megastar right now. But back to the things I love. I mentioned Billy Joel. He's got a new song out, actually. I was glad. It's been a long time since he put anything out. I love Tina Turner and, oh gosh, so many other singers. Tom Petty, Huey Lewis and the News, all those songs, all those singers that I love. I really like Billie Eilish, and I like, Sia is really cool. Let me think here. I'm not clicking right now. Toby Keith just passed away, and that was a big, sad thing for me because I love Toby Keith. His song "Don't Let the Old Man In" is one of my most played songs right now on my playlist. I really, really like that guy. His songs were a lot of fun and a lot of sense of humor, and I think he was a good man, and it's really a shame that he died of cancer. Cancer has claimed so many of our artists and loved ones, and I hate cancer. It's just a horrible, horrible thing. I wish it would just go away. Cancer sucks. That's all I got to say about that. And but I tend to gravitate towards. I like the 70s music. I think my favorite, and I can listen to 1970s music all the time. I think it's just a comforting time for me. It's when I was a child, and it brings such warm memories back to me. So I really enjoy hearing songs from the 1970s. And if you grew up in the 1970s, you were exposed to just about any kind of genre of music you could possibly imagine. If you look at local music surveys from that era, ouch, you'd be surprised at what they played, because a lot of their things that were played are considered oldies or easy listening or whatever. To think that Top 40 played these songs is surprising to a lot of younger listeners, but we grew up with an eclectic bunch of music. It was we had country, you had rock, you had pop, you had disco, you had soul, you had everything in the 1970s. The 1980s started out kind of diversified, but as it grew into the late 80s, it got more rock, pop, and a lot less country. I ended up retreating to country music in the early 90s because I did not enjoy the grunge scene at all. So I began to listen to country music in the 90s, and I became fans of people like Susie Boggess and, I love Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and Randy Travis and Aaron Tippin and all these great country singers of the 90s, Shania Twain, Toby Keith, of course, and Faith Hill, Tim McGraw. I could go on, but the music I go back to, though, the music I gravitate towards is the 70s and 80s mostly. And they are forever in my happy place. My favorite album of all time is, I think it's the Xanadu soundtrack. That was the first vinyl record album that I ever got. No, it was Grease. But I love Grease, but Xanadu is my go-to album. I pull that out every now and then. I like to listen to it. Make fun of me if you will. I don't care. I love Xanadu and I love Olivia Newton-John. I'm unashamed of that. And
anyway, I think I will move on to my next topic. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to talk about the one thing I really love is movies. So I'm going to talk about some movies and talk about my current movie festival I'm having as we speak. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast. From my head to your ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast From My Head to Your Ears, and I've talked about I am talking about the things that I love, seeing it is time for Valentine's Day or roundabouts. And I've talked about television and food and music. And of course, I think my biggest love is always going to be movies. I love movies of all kind. My dad loved movies. I've talked about movies a lot in my podcast. Right now I'm having a Movies I Love film festival where I pick out 14 films to watch in 14 days, and Valentine's Day being the last day. I always do these movie festivals to keep myself entertained and to keep me creatively occupied, because I don't know, it helps me get through my life. I don't know how else to say it. But I do enjoy doing that, though. And it's fun to kind of dig movies out and try to decide what I'm going to watch. And I do have a lot of favorite movies, a lot of different kinds of movies. I've watched, I'll just name what I've watched so far. I watched the Swiss Family Robinson, the Disney classic. I've watched Dogfight with River Phoenix and Lily Taylor, which I found out is getting a re-release through the Criterion Collection in April. If you've never checked that movie out, it's called Dogfight from 1992. It stars River Phoenix and Lily Taylor. It's about a group of Marines who are getting ready to ship off to Vietnam the night before President Kennedy is assassinated, and they are having a dogfight, which is a contest to bring the ugliest date. And the Marines scatter to find the ugliest girl to bring to this party, which is hosted by other military men, and the winner wins some money. And River Phoenix meets Rose, a waitress at a diner, who fits the bill. She's not the most attractive girl in the world. She's not the least attractive girl in the world either, but she's a very interesting girl and a very sweet girl. And actually her personality enhances her looks, and I think she becomes kind of beautiful through the movie, and I think he thinks she does too, because he tries to talk her out of going to this after he asks her to go, and she doesn't listen. And anyway, she finds out what's happened, and she gets really mad, and she storms out, and he feels bad, so he goes after her, and they spend a night on the town where he wants to apologize to her, and then he ships off in the morning. I think they end up having a moment, and he ships off. She leaves his address. He tears it up, throws it out the window, and it's kind of like, oh crap. But anyway, the ending to this movie is so poignant to me and so memorable that and quietly memorable that it's just a great movie. It's a movie I rented on a whim years ago. We used to rent movies at my store, and they used to let us take them home when they came in. Of course, we had to pay for the rental, but we got to preview them before the customers got to see them. And that was the one I chose. And I was glad I did, because, God, it's been a favorite of mine for many, many years now. 30 years, I think. Over 30 years. So, anyway, one of my favorites that I've watched. What else have I watched? I watched Star Trek First Contact, which is my favorite of the Next Generation movies. And I watched... let me see. What else have I watched? I'm racking my brain. I can't think. I'm watching Superman the movie tonight, which is one of my all-time favorites. I watched The Wizard of Oz. Like I said, gosh, I can't remember all the movies I've watched in the last few days, but it's been really awesome. The 80th anniversary of the movie The Uninvited is coming up on the 10th, and I'm going to watch that on the 10th. That's one of my all-time favorite ghost movies. It's a classic, and I'm glad it was shown on Svengoolie a few months ago, and it kind of sparked a little interest in it, and I wish they would show it more often. It's really a good, straight ghost movie. You don't see too many ghost movies that feature actual ghosts in it, you know what I mean? Usually it's someone acting like a ghost, or a mystery movie where, this is about an actual haunting. So I really like that movie a lot. Anyway, I love besides the movies I'm watching at my festival, I'm a big Alfred Hitchcock fan. I don't love all his movies, but the ones I do love, I love Psycho, I love The Birds, The Man Who Knew Too Much with Jimmy Stewart and Doris Day, the second round. He made that the first time, but this is the second time he made the movie. I love Rear Window is one of my favorites of all time. Love that movie, and I can watch that over and over too. And I may just watch them on my film festival. I don't know. I love Jaws. Jaws is one of my favorites. I love the Star Trek movies. Almost all of the original Trek movies I love, except for Star Trek 5. I've even shut that out of my mind. The one where he supposedly meets God. I hated that movie. I can't even think the name of it right now. There's something wrong with my brain. I usually don't forget anything. But I loved The Undiscovered Country, and I loved it's funny, Star Trek 4 was The Voyage Home, great movie, probably my favorite Star Trek movie, maybe. And then that one, which I think I've just put out of my mind, and then The Undiscovered Country was a great send-off for our original crew. Like I said, the Next Generation movie, the only one I really liked was First Contact. They really never really made a good movie with the Next Generation cast. The rest of them I just didn't care for. Although Picard Season 3 seems like it was the great Next Generation movie. It was such high quality. But anyway, I love old ghost movies. I love The Haunting. And, of course, Universal Monsters. I love all those. I've talked about that before. And, sorry. I think I hurt my kitty cat a while ago when she was jumping on me. I didn't mean to. I think she's okay. I digress. But, I love film noir movies as well. I watched The Big Clock the other day with Alan Ladd and Casablanca and movies like that. Oh God, I love. By the way, I forgot about Rebecca Hitchcock's Rebecca is a favorite of mine. That's kind of film noir. I was trying to think of the name of the movie. Well, I'll go back to that. Maybe I'll think of the movie I was wanting to mention. I love Doris Day movies. I love musicals. I love Singing in the Rain and Gene Kelly. And movies are just a big passion of mine. And I noticed a lot of people are moving away from hard copies of movies. And I noticed stores are stopping carrying hard copies. And I got in an argument online with the girl who said, oh, nobody buys those anyway. And I was like, I beg to differ. There's quite a few of us who enjoy having hard copies. I don't have a great internet service around here, and streaming sucks. Plus, they limit what you can see. If I see a movie I love released on Blu-ray or DVD, I'm going to get it because, Dogfight, for instance, I don't think it's available on streaming services. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can just pull it out anytime I want to watch it. There's a lot of movies like that I like that are hard to find, and so I don't really care for streaming services too much. I guess they're convenient, but I don't think it's for a serious movie fan. It's a limited offering of movies. So anyway, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast. I'm talking about the things I love, and I'm wrapping it up, but Some of the things I dearly love are my family, my friends. I love my friends, and I love my fur babies. My little Kira's right now on my chest as I'm recording this, and she's purring. I don't know if you can hear her. Can you hear that? Anyway, maybe you couldn't. I love these things. I love talking about the things I love, and everything enhances my life and keeps me going. So I also love podcasting, and I thank you for listening. And this is one of my shorter ones, I realize, but I'll be back next week with another episode of From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs. Thank you so much for listening. I love you all. Mwah. I'll be back next week.